Greetings and salutations, guys. Eric here with my review of Alien Romulus. This is the 7th movie in the Alien franchise, which kicked off in 1979. I know. You could say it's the 9th movie if you count the 2 Alien vs. Predator movies. I do not. We all have personal choices in life, and counting AVP and AVP2 as Alien films, I just don't do that. And if you do, I respect you. This one is set in between the original Alien and James Cameron's Aliens. Kaylee Spaney, who's had a big year with Priscilla and Civil War, plays Rain. She accompanies a group of friends on a mission to scavenge an abandoned space station built by the infamous Weyland-Yutani. And suffice to say, the ship is not as devoid of life as they think it is, and soon enough, we've got face huggers and chest bursters and xenomorphs, oh my. Alien Romulus was co-written and directed by Fede Álvarez, and he previously took on a long-running beloved franchise with the 2013 Evil Dead movie, a movie I think kind of rocks. I don't think Alien Romulus is that sort of home run, but I still think it's a pretty damn entertaining film. Alvarez's approach here was to go back to basics with Alien. He makes that very explicit from the start because he sets it between the first 2 movies, which are the 2 that are kind of universally beloved by fans. And this allows for a lot of visual continuity. Right from the start, I was thinking about Rogue One a lot just because of how that movie and this one do such a great job of really capturing the aesthetics and the design of the movies that they are so closely connected to. And you really feel like, wow, you could have stepped onto the set of those movies in the 70s while they're making this one. It's just very impressive to see how they recreated the 1970s idea of future tech here. And along the way, there are lots of references and Easter eggs and callbacks, and some of them I absolutely loved, and some of them I could have done without and felt like maybe that was a bit much. There is one aspect of the movie in particular, though, that is very tricky to talk about in a non-spoiler review, because it's pretty central to the movie, but I don't want to give it away. There are a-holes out there giving it away left and right if you have to know beforehand what I'm dancing around. Suffice to say, something happens in this movie. There's a reveal in this movie that is going to be very polarizing. It already is polarizing with the people who have seen it because it's something that's been done in some other movies and is always controversial. And there are people that never like it when they try to do this sort of thing. And there are people like me who think it can be okay in moderation, the way they do it. I think they pull it off pretty well here. I hate that I have to be so vague about what I'm talking about. I will just say it wasn't a deal breaker for me, this big thing that they do. But for some people it might be. But I hope that you can kind of roll with it. And I think some people who are able to will very much enjoy themselves. Alvarez is a really strong visual storyteller. I think the movie looks great, and I really like the early scenes that are set on the colony that Rain lives on with her friends, just because it kind of gives a glimpse at a side of the alien universe we don't see that often. It is a slow build-up, which is very much the MO for this series if you look back. But Alvarez is really great at creating clever set pieces. There are lots of cool and intense moments here, and they do build and sort of crescendo throughout. He takes what we know about the aliens and them as a species and them as cinematic characters, and he puts some really fun spins on it. I love seeing a horde of facehuggers running down a hallway. That's pretty awesome. As is setting a sequence in a room that is partially flooded with a bunch of facehuggers swimming around at your feet. And let's talk about acid blood. Very important subject in life. Now, the acid blood, great part of sort of the alien mythos. It is very convenient when and when it doesn't come into play sometimes in the other films in the series. Well, Alvarez is all about that acid blood life and actually thought that he made it the centerpiece of a couple of sequences in a way I've never seen and that I thought were just great. I loved what he does. What he does with acid blood is unprecedented. No, it is. In a movie series that's this old, you do have to kind of think about how can you take its core elements and do something different with them. And I think what he does here with a lot of those aspects, how these different elements of Alien and how the complications of the face hugger and the chest burster and the xenomorph work, how he can combine them all and spin it around, I think is a real testament to his talent. This is the first Alien movie since we got Ridley Scott's Prometheus and Alien Covenant. It is definitely sort of less heady in its approach, and I think some will very much embrace that from the get-go. Now, I was actually a big fan of Prometheus and Alien Covenant, as polarizing as they were, but I also appreciate the sort of leaner, meaner approach that Alvarez is taking here. He is really going back to that sort of core conceit of the first movie of let's tell a spooky story in space And I did think that Return to Basics worked. I don't want every Alien movie to be like that, but it certainly is nice to get one once in a while like that. But the movie does have an emotional core, and that's provided by Rain and her brother, Andy. Andy, and this is not a spoiler, this is given to you right at the top of the movie. He is a synthetic, one of the androids that have been a central part of the Alien series going back to the original. And she grew up always knowing him. So this gives a very different dynamic than we ever seen with a human and an android because she considers him family. And I think that they really sell that bond from the get-go. I mean, Kaylee Spaney, who is an excellent actress, and I've really liked her in everything I've seen her in so far, she really gives you a lot of depth to that character very quickly. And then I was really impressed by David Johnson. I don't think I've seen him in anything before, but as Andy, he brings a lot of different layers to this character. And I think that in a series that has a lot of great android characters and a lot of great actors playing them, he is another standout. The rest of the small cast are all solid. It's really, though, Rain and Andy that provide heart to the film. Alvarez purposely chose unknown or not that well-known actors, and I think that does work well here. The most recognizable person, I think, for a lot of people going into Alien Romulus will be Isabella Merced. I mean, she was the lead in a Transformers movie. She is Dora the freaking Explorer. I like her a lot. It's funny, though, in this movie, her character is basically separated from the others early on, so she kind of has her own deal happening a lot. But she has a lot of cool physical moments along the way as we kind of follow her journey. So stepping back, yes, I do think Fede Alvarez probably should have dialed back how much he adores the Alien series as far as the references go. This movie is very confidently made, so I don't think it needs as many, hey, remember when something like this happened in one of the other films in this series moments as we get. It is definitely a few too many. At the same time, it's giving you the core elements of what make Alien work, and it is a very cool and exciting movie in its own right. Looking at what Disney has done with a couple of these franchises since they own them, I don't think this is the sort of absolute triumph that Prey was for Predator, which I think is just easily one of the very best Predator movies alongside the original. This, though, is a very solid Alien movie that I think does deliver those core elements very well, and is a very entertaining film in its own right. Maybe a little too precious about what came before it. I think maybe Alvarez could have taken a step back as a fan and said, do I need to include all this? At the same time, though, I was very happy as an Alien fan with a lot of things that happened in this movie and how they played out and the look and feel of it all. It felt sort of really core Alien. I think that the return to formula he was going for, by and large, he captures. So those are my thoughts on Alien Romulus. I think people are going to be, having a lot of reactions to this movie. I'm very curious to see how it plays to people at large. So let me know what you thought if you see this in the comments. And if you can like and subscribe, that'd be great. And I'll be back with more. Thanks, guys. Take care.